When I was a little kid, I was movie obsessed. Star Wars, Back to the Future, Goonies, Gremlins. So many great movies came out when I was little, and I loved them all. I just would watch the VHS tapes over and over and over and over again. But if there was one movie that stood above them all back then, one movie that I couldn't watch enough, it was Ghostbusters. I wondered when I was little, where's Ghostbusters 2? Why isn't there a Ghostbusters 2? It seemed such an obvious thing to me. Then I turned 9 years old and I got Ghostbusters 2. A movie that, while it is now fashionable to hate, I loved at the time and I love now. More than 30 years passed with me saying, where's Ghostbusters 3? Again, it seemed an obvious thing. I am here today to talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife. No, I don't have a bootleg or anything. I have a 3-disc case with Ghostbusters 1 and 2 in it, and an empty spot for Ghostbusters Afterlife. A movie that could easily be called, and in the old days would have been called, Ghostbusters 3. Ghostbusters Afterlife is delightful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed every second of it. My complaints are minimal. The movie follows the fortunes of Egon's daughter and grandchildren, who, once they go broke and get evicted, have to move to the town of Somersville, where Egon has a house that he has left them. He has recently passed away, and Egon's daughter frankly hates his guts. I mean, I was a little bit worried watching this movie that they were going to Luke Skywalker him. Fortunately, they don't. I should also say, too, before I go any further, there's going to be spoilers in this. I will try to keep them minimal in the beginning, but we're going to get into it. So, Egon's granddaughter, Phoebe, who is really the main character, she's not top billed. She should be top billed. But she is the main character. She comes into contact with a spirit who is guiding her, showing her where the equipment is, the proton pack, the ghost trap. She makes a friend named Podcast, another little kid, and their summer school teacher, who is played by Paul Rudd, also befriends her, and he's sort of a Ghostbusters fanboy. The little girl who plays Phoebe, fantastic. She owns this movie. The other kids are fine, to varying degrees. I thought Podcast was a little annoying. He grew on me as time went by, but the other Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters, they have room to grow. I'm sure there'll be a sequel. They have room to grow. But is it Grace McKenna or McKenna Grace? I'm not even sure. She's fantastic. She is great. She is a star. She's funny. She is absolutely the best thing about this movie. She's the best thing about this movie, including the cameo by the old Ghostbusters. She owns this movie. I would happily follow her and the new kids in sequels that go on. As the movie continues, we come to realize that an old foe of the Ghostbusters is trying to get back into our world. And it is up to these kids to stop that evil force. Much of the media reaction has been centered around accusations of fan service. And many critics have said they should have just done a sequel to 2016 Ghostbusters. Why are they just making this fan service film for all these toxic fans? They should have just made a sequel to 2016. Because the Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's just about fan service. It's just about nostalgia. And Ghostbusters 2016 wasn't. It was a remake of Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2016 was a corporate product. It was not a feminist message movie. It was not some sort of rallying cause that people should have gotten behind. It was a corporate product. It was, anybody who would read the emails that came out during the Sony hack can see the corporate thinking that went behind Ghostbusters 2016. Many people have accused Ghostbusters 2016 of the same thing that they've accused Star Wars of, and Star Trek, and Birds of Prey, and so many other movies, that it was all about wokeness. It's not all about wokeness. It's not. It's about committee think. And the committee thought that pushing this message was going to make them lots of money. That's what that movie was about. It was about making lots of money. It wasn't about being progressive. It wasn't about making the world better for women or inspiring little girls. None of it. If the data had shown that making Ghostbusters 2016 a testosterone-driven, misogynistic movie, if it had shown that making it that movie would have made them a ton of money, guess what they would have done? They would have made that movie. And women be damned. I don't know why people think that soulless corporate hacks care about you. They don't. They don't care about you. They don't care about your message. They don't care about your cause. They care about the bottom line. The bottom line was they thought remaking Ghostbusters with women was going to make them money. And I would also like to point out to the people who say, well, Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's sexist. Which has been a lot of things that I've seen. Ghostbusters Afterlife is sexist because Ghostbusters 2016 was progressive, and we had 4 women in the movie. Half of the new Ghostbusters are female. Half of the new Ghostbusters are people of color, which is more than what the 2016 movie gave us. Ghostbusters Afterlife does it right. At no point in the movie did I feel pandered to. At no point in the movie did I feel that I was being attacked. At no point in the movie did I feel anything other than this warm kind of feeling. This warm, nostalgic feeling. This is where I'm going to get into spoilers so that I can make my point. Right at the darkest hour, right when the kids, they can't fight back anymore. They're held their own as best they can. And then we hear a familiar voice cut through the chaos. Did you miss us? Camera pans over, and there's Murray, Aykroyd, and Hudson in their Ghostbusters uniform. And the audience in the theater that I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife in erupted into applause. That's all we wanted. It's all we wanted. We just wanted those guys. And you could say, well, Ghostbusters 2016, we made a movie, that moved things forward, and it's new and it's different. It wasn't new, it wasn't different, it was just Ghostbusters. And if I have a complaint about this movie, it's a complaint I have about just about every movie now, which is we need to stop making the same movies over and over and over again. You know, I'm thinking this while I'm in line getting popcorn. And there's a little boy and he's wearing a Ghostbusters uniform. And I'm thinking, you know, you keep hearing things like, well, we have to make a Ghostbusters for a new generation. Or Ghostbusters, kids don't know what Ghostbusters is nowadays. Yes, they do. There's not a kid who doesn't know what Ghostbusters is. This would be the equivalent of when I was a kid, if they just kept remaking John Wayne movies. If they just kept remaking Charlton Heston movies or movies from the 60s, you know. I mean, really the only franchise I can think of like that, the two franchises I can think of like that would be James Bond and Star Trek, where when I was a kid, those franchises from when my dad was a kid, they kept going. I can think of two examples. Every goddamn franchise right now is 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. We just keep remaking them and making belated sequels and making reboots and soft reboots. We're not giving kids new things to get excited about. So when I hear, well, Ghostbusters 2016, we were giving people something new. It's disingenuous. It's disingenuous that that's the way that critics would respond to this movie. What I got out of Ghostbusters Afterlife was Jason Reitman genuinely caring about the legacy of his father. When Bill Murray says, "Did you miss us?" He wasn't just saying, "Oh, it's been so long since a Ghostbusters movie." It hasn't. It has not been very long since a Ghostbusters movie. A Ghostbusters movie that had Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson in it. It hasn't been that long. We didn't miss them. We missed Venkman, Stans, and Zeddemore. And in a move that I'm sure many, many people will find eye-rolling, the ghost of Harold Ramis. They do it. They go there. We get full CGI ghost Egon. The effect is fine. I think they're always fine anymore. I mean, a lot of people bitch about Tarkin in Rogue One. It wasn't great, but it was fine. I got through it. I looked at it and I was like, well, yeah, Peter Cushing. I think it's one of those things where if you don't know, then you don't even notice. You could say that this movie plays on nostalgia. Oh, look, there's a Twinkie. Oh, look, there's the colander that, you know, they put on Rick Moranis' head. Oh, there's a box of Cheez-Its in the background, like Egon was munching on. You could say all of that. Oh, it's just playing on nostalgia. It's a fucking Ghostbusters movie. Yes, of course it's playing on nostalgia. So did the 2016 movie. As long as you're going to keep resurrecting these franchises, as long as you're going to keep bringing them back, they're all going to play on nostalgia because that's all they've really got going for them for the most part. Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's a movie that I'm glad that it exists. I'm very happy that it exists for multiple reasons. Both to give us one last look at the original four Ghostbusters together, even if one of them does have to be CGI. To give us a fun new adventure starring an exciting young actress. That's great. But also to show Hollywood, don't fuck with us. Because we're the ones who decide whether or not your movie is going to be a hit or not. And if you come out with a movie that nobody really wanted, that was all corporate think, that wasn't funny, you know, James Rolfe got so much shit when he said, I'm not going to go see Ghostbusters 2016. I looked at the trailer. I don't think it looks funny. What I wanted was the original Ghostbusters. They're not giving me that, so I don't want to go see this movie. He got attacked. The one time the mainstream media actually pays attention to James Rolfe, he got attacked. He got dragged over the coals. Patton Oswalt comes out and starts talking shit about him because he said he doesn't want to see a movie. Is that where we're at? Where we don't get to decide anymore what movies we want to put our money into and what movies we don't? Where if we don't go see a movie, if we don't support that movie, then we're villains? If we say to Hollywood, we don't like what you did. We wanted the original Ghostbusters back. This isn't what we wanted. We wanted, and everybody was okay with it, including the audience I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife with, a passing of the torch. Here are the original Ghostbusters. Here's a new generation. They pass on their tech, their knowledge, a little bit of help, and then we move on with a new generation. That's what we wanted. It's all we wanted. The fact that we were smugly told this is what's good for you. This is what you should have. This is what we're going to give you, and you better like it, because if you don't like it, then you're a sexist. How'd that work out for you, Sony? Paramount makes Sonic the Hedgehog. They put out a trailer. Sonic looks horrifying. People are disgusted. They're like, we're not going to see this movie. What did Paramount do? They delayed Sonic the Hedgehog's release, and they redid all of the effects, top to bottom, start to finish. And what happened? The highest grossing video game-based movie of all time. You got to start listening to your audience. If these soulless corporate hacks had been in the theater where I was last night and felt the energy, felt the love, felt the just joy whenever the original Ghostbusters popped up, it was electric. I could feel it coming from the people around me, and I haven't felt that in a long time. That 5 minutes with the original guys, it's all we wanted. You know, with a great new cast to pass the torch to, with a great story around them. That's all we wanted. And thankfully, Jason Reitman showed up and he righted that ship. He did his father proud. Ghostbusters Afterlife is not the Ghostbusters 3 we wanted. We can't ever have that. It's gone. If you want that Ghostbusters 3, go get the 2009 video game. You get Ghostbusters 3 there. The Ghostbusters 3 we wanted should have come out in 1995. It didn't. And now it's too late, and we can't ever have that movie. But Ghostbusters Afterlife, that's the closest we're ever going to get, and it gets pretty damn close. It is a more sentimental movie than the other two. But, you know what? The audience was feeling sentimental that I saw it with. The audience was happy that I saw it with. All they wanted were their beloved Ghostbusters back. And they got it. And I was happy, and my girlfriend sitting next to me, she's choked up. I'm choked up. Because if you're going to play on nostalgia, then you better get nostalgia right. And Ghostbusters Afterlife, in my opinion, gets it right. I will happily watch any further adventures with these kids. It doesn't have to have the original cast back. It doesn't have to have the Twinkie or, spores, molds, and fungus. It doesn't have to have that. but I appreciated that they gave it to me for this one last time. I'm glad that I had that theatrical experience. If you believe going to the movies, experiencing a movie with an audience, if you believe that's important, if you believe it gives you something that streaming can't, Ghostbusters Afterlife, when you see it with an audience of Ghostbusters fans, that's an experience you won't ever forget.
Their worlds.
Sort of gave myself the challenge of, okay,